Hello, my lovely and sweet Pisces. This is your horoscope for May 2025. First half of May will be a bit of a bumpy one. Second half of May will be rewarding. Amazing new moon we have by the end of May. So stay with me until the end to get to know all the details. Now let's start from the beginning. May 2nd will be amazing conjunction, which is once in a lifetime, plus it never happened before in our lifetime. Venus, planet of love, conjunct Neptune, planet of unconditional love and imagination, in your second house of income and self-esteem at first degree. Now this is the at 1 degree, like the first degree of the sign, it's always strong. And Neptune, your ruler, my dear Pisces, seems like something is beginning. You are filled with the self boost, self-confidence. It's an amazing day to start anything new, to initiate, especially for you guys. Second house is about income, is about self-esteem, is about self-confidence also. Second house, it's also might be about job, like you might land an amazing job offer in the beginning of May because of these two planets that conjunct. Now Venus always exalted like in your sign. Venus loves to be in your sign, but it's in your second house, and Neptune is your ruler, newly entered in your second house for the next 14 years of your life. Blessing with tons of money, because Neptune rules ocean. So imagine, dare to dream big, my dear Pisces. That's my advice. Go for your dreams no matter how big they are. Neptune will help you to overcome all the obstacles and get what you want. Second house is about also maybe possessions, material possessions. Like if you've been craving to buy something, then second of May seems like will be the day you might purchase something valuable, like an apartment, real estate, piece of land, or which has value and which will stay for a long time. Sort of this kind of purchases. And also it's your priorities. Some of you guys might feel this conjunction more on a level of spirituality, more on the level of your own sense of your, let's say, priorities, what value of your life, and what kind of things hold valuable like in your life, whether it's a love or friendship. There might be some shift going on, big shift, and you might redirect your energy to some parts of your life that you before, for example, neglected, let's say. Anyhow, this is amazing time, second half of May 2nd, to start something. Some of you guys might even rethink how you use your resources, like material resources, psychological, like energy, and also food. It might be the time you will start some sort of dieting, as an example, or maybe healthy lifestyle, or some things might change there in your way how you consume food, for example. May 4th, we have Pluto going backwards, slowing down, retrograding until October 14th. Now, next couple of months, Pluto will be retrograding in your most private part of your chart. And Pluto is a transformation journey, and it's exactly in such a transformational part of your chart. Seems like it will send you, Pluto in general will be in that part for the next 20 years, transforming it greatly, making you, let's say, become even more invested into spirituality, into self-digging, even without Pluto. 12th house is about all this psychological, like mental, spiritual, maybe mystical part of our selves, where we like to sit and sort of dig, some truth, some facts, some things, like to try to get to know ourselves. So Pluto will introduce you to yourself. Seems like you, in the next 20 years, you might reinvent yourself even, because Pluto is like this, phoenix, like this bird, mystical bird that burns to the ashes and again, like becomes alive from exactly the same ashes, let's say. Now, the process will be the same for you. And it seems like a lot of Pisces, you guys, you already so much spiritual, so much imaginative, creative, and now you will more tune into that vibration, into that intuition and all the stuff. You will have huge power to tap into your subconscious mind with this Pluto in your 12th house. And now it's slowing down. Now Pluto, first time entered your 12th house was in November, so we're gonna stay for 20 years there, and it's slow moving planet. It moved only until 3rd degree of your 12th house, so now it's going backwards from 3rd to 1st degree. Now, those of you, who are born early Pisces season, and anyone who has like placements in those degrees from 1st to 3rd, you will feel this Pluto retrograde the most. It might be that you initiated something back in November, and now starting from May until October will be the time to revise to those projects, whatever you started back in November. It might be related like to relocation, or it might be related to a project that you started doing behind, hidden from all the world, from everyone else. For example, like you've been doing it privately, all alone by yourself, because 12th house is about that, when we sit and all by ourselves and do something, like meticulously researching. Maybe, for example, you start writing a book, and no one knows about it. For example, some of you guys might start at something like creating behind the doors. For now, it's not ready to show to the whole world, but you are prepared. You've been preparing since November, and now when it's going retrograde, you might need some revision there. You might sort of give second thoughts, give second looks at whatever you're creating. For example, could be a sort of second act, to whatever you started back in November, or whatever situation was back in November. Because Pluto also rules your 9th house, all the foreign people, foreign things, and it's in also far lands house. 12th house is about far lands. So it seems like you might have started thinking, let's say, to relocate somewhere very far, somewhere, I don't know, maybe buying a house on an island, or somewhere in the jungle, or maybe dedicate yourself to more this kind of journeys, like, to power places, like, I don't know, in Mexico, Stonehenge, I don't know, Tibet, some sort of journeys, or maybe Egypt to pyramids. Anyhow, like all these things, like it might be that depending on your situation, whatever you started in November, there could be some second development here happening starting from May, some sort of additional actions or additional things coming into the picture, or you yourself slowing down and taking it slower. For example, if you started like a process of relocation, trying to find options, where to go, where to move, where to, let's say, immigrate, then now will be the time when you will a bit slow down, think through what kind of options you have. Maybe you've been choosing for all this time while Pluto started its journey in your 12th house. The 12th house is also house of health and well-being. Some of you guys might have started, let's say, some psychological sessions, mental sessions, maybe therapy, for example. And now will be the time to revise some results, to come to some results and to evaluate whether that therapy was beneficial and whether you want to continue it or not. So these things might be going on too for some of you guys. Now, also, by the beginning of May, you might travel back to where you've been, because 12th house is also our past. So the places that we know very well. You might travel home, or you might, and it seems like it's very far journey, like more than 3 hours by flight or even by car. You might travel very far, but somewhere that you've been before and somewhere that you know, most probably your home, to see maybe your grandma, let's say grandfather, because Pluto rules those people in your chart. And in general, there might be some sort of travel going on. Now let's move forward. We have May 12th, this difficult full moon, which is happening in your ninth house, of all people, foreign related. Now, those of you who are born 12th of March, plus or minus 5 days, you will be affected the most by this one, because it's hitting your 22nd degree. Now, this full moon will, I call this sort of a abrupt event, or sort of shocking situation that finishes, or that reveals itself, let's say, but in the long run it's beneficial. Even if something is ending, because full moons are about ending, it's about conclusions, in the long run it will benefit you, my dear Pisces. So remember that. Anyhow, all the planets are supporting you, but this full moon will be a bit of a difficult one to chew in. Now, full moon message will come as a shocking news, or sort of revelation, surprise, because Uranus, planet of shock and surprises, will be situated in your house of messages and will directly oppose that full moon. Not a sweet at all aspect. And seems like that news is coming from far lands. Again, like from someone who maybe lives far, or someone situated very far from you, or maybe it's from your company, because it's in Uranus is in your contract signing house. It might be that some contract might finish by this May 12th with a foreign client, or maybe client will announce that they don't want to work with you anymore, whatever is your business type. So seems like it will come as a shock. And it might be that also, a company that, let's say you work for a company, but then the headquarters are based somewhere else in some different country, and they're gonna announce that they are finishing work with you and your contract is ending, terminated. So this might be a thing going on. Pluto, ruler of this eclipse, will be now, which is in your private house, will harshly argue with Mercury, also which is situated in your house of signing contracts. So you see this, some message, coming from far, and there might be some miscommunication in your case. The best strategy here to listen more, say less. Not to go into heated argument, because you run the risk to, heated up the topic too much, because Pluto is in your 12th house. So someone very far, or who's oppressing, let's say, will send you not a good message, or maybe you will receive some news which will shock you, and most probably relate to some family member, or maybe your wife or husband, someone's maybe from their family. Something will be going on, and you won't be agreeing on some things there. Maybe about travel. Some travel might go disrupted also around this time, because 9th house and 12th house that are engaged here in your case, they are travel houses. Seems like if you've been, planning to travel, some things might go wrong. For example, I don't know, you've booked wrong date, you've booked a wrong flight, or even if that flight, the travel happens, On the way, you might receive some shocking revelations. For example, some of you guys might actually travel, but then still, there will be a lot of tension in the air, sort of. It might be related to anything, maybe about your flight departure, or maybe your family members will be late for flight, for example, or your husband or wife, something will be going on there. Some of you guys, it might be related about education, and here you might finish your education and graduate also. Nine house is about education. Now, legal case, if you've involved in legal case, or like you have a lawsuit, let's say, so here will be again some sort of shocking finish line, ending, some resolution, but then you might not like the ruling, the result of that case. You might not like it, but always remember that the universe is working behind the scenes, and this full moon is for better. Whatever will be happening, of course, it won't be, seems like it won't be so nice, like at the moment what will be happening, but when you going, when the time pass, when you're going to look back, you will feel that it was the right things that happened back then. So try to keep calm, keep quiet, so that this full moon pass, and better to deal after full moon's effects, like later at the time. Now you will have support from universe, destiny node, and Saturn, which are in your sign together. They will help you out. They will, the Saturn for the past 3 years, he was teaching you how to have a stamina, how to have a will, and strong, to be strong, and stern. So, all the past 3 years before Saturn leaves your sign, I hope it didn't go in vain, anything. And for you, as my dreamy Pisces, you will need this Saturn's energy. And seems like, it will be in your first house, and you will feel strong. And destiny node, whatever will be happening there, this Saturn will be sort of your guarding angel. And Saturn is about, rules your house of future and wish. So focus on those future plans, not what is already breaking down or finishing, because full moon is about finishing or revealing something. Whatever will be happening, it's already happened, my dear Pisces. So focus, Saturn tells you, focus on your future, on next steps, what you're going to take in your life. Ninth house is also a house of citizenships, immigration, and these documents, visa documents, all these things might go messy. You might receive not pleasant news. You might get rejected from visa, for example, or some immigration documents. These things might be going on. And also about publishing, like if you are in a publishing, if you're trying to publish a book or research, whatever is that, again, public might not welcome so much that work. So wait until this full moon pass, especially for you guys, because here is third house, is also editorial house. So maybe you will have some argument with your editors or publishing house, whatever will be going on. Just pause this action because second part of May is much better time to initiate and start things. May 25th, big thing going on. Saturn, which spent last 3 years in your sign, finally moving out from your sign into your second house. Now, Saturn, even though will spend a little bit time in your second house until September 1st, so it will show you what it's going to bring into your money house in the next 3 years, where it will spend. But it will retrograde back on September 1st into your sign to finish up something, to give you, those gifts. Saturn is also about gifts. It's not like a bad planet. It's Saturn will go back to say thank you, that you put up the work, that you hosted here Saturn for the last 3 years. I call this planet strict teacher. And usually the lessons of Saturn are very hard and difficult, but they are rewarding. So Saturn will go back to reward you guys. If you've done your homework, you will pass Saturn's test. Finally, you are almost finishing, my dear Pisces, with Saturn's test. Now you will not see him in your sign for the next 29 years. That's how long Saturn takes to come back to the same point in your chart. So, if you are at that age, let's say, think back 29 years ago, what Saturn brought into your financial house 29 years ago. Now, if you are young, then it means, this transit happened when you were kid, when you were a child. Now, anyhow, Saturn will show you, will hint you, will give you hints whole summer what is going to bring in your financial sector. And it will come back on Valentine's Day 2026 for the already permanently for next 3 years into your second house. Now Saturn naturally rules your house of wish and future, and seems like you are fueled with all the desire to earn more, to love yourself more. Second house is about self-esteem and self-value. Saturn will teach you here how to sort of be self-confident. And just so you know, if there are some things that are shaky, that are not built on a solid ground, for example, second house is about earning money. So, for example, you don't like your job, you've been complaining all along. Let's say you've been already a few years in the same company, but you've been hating what you're doing, let's say. Now, Saturn comes in and strips it down. It's this kind of planet. So whatever is not on a solid ground, it will get destroyed. So Saturn will finally release you from that. And it might actually mean that it might leave you sort of without money. Now Saturn is also a planet of limitation. So there might be, for some of you guys, it might be about scarce of money, sort of not enough money, or even not enough opportunities. Like there are two scenarios could be. First scenario, that it will be very hard for the next 3 years to find that job, dream job, or satisfying job, or even to earn, money. And second scenario is that it will give you big job opportunity that comes with responsibility, but also with long hours of work. That's Saturn indicating. Saturn indicates hard work. So even if you are getting promoted, for example, some of you guys are, by even Saturn, when came close to second house without even entering it, you've already probably start feeling and getting the messages, and plus your life might have changed. For example, some Pisces got promoted or got a new job position, which comes with a lot of responsibility, like, I don't know, CEO type, manager type, and also long work of hours. So for the next 3 years, you will have to sort of work hard and also will have a lot of responsibility. Now, second house is also house of material possessions, like expensive gifts, and in general, house, land, and Saturn also indicator of building. It's construction planet. You might start building, for example, a house or something like for your business, maybe commercial building. So it might be about something that you're gonna construct. Also, as I said, it's about all types of resources, second house, like material resources, our energy, food, and Saturn will give you here good lessons and, sort of direction to be discreet, let's say, to be rational, in your way of consuming food, what kind of food you eat, let's say. You might start paying more attention to that, and how you spend your energy as well, how you get recharged, how you have a rest time. All these things will all of a sudden start matter, because Saturn will make you pay attention to that part of your life. Anyhow, I will make whole video on this Saturn in your second house, so stay tuned for more details. May 27, amazing new moon, perfect one, peach one, in your house of family. Those of you who are born 24th of February, plus or minus 5 days, you will feel this new moon the most, because it's hitting 6 degree. Now, Pluto, planet of transformation, is amazingly beaming, supporting that new moon. New moons are new energy. Now, this new energy is conjunct with message, with the communicator, Mercury, ruler of new moon, and also ruler of your seventh house of marriage and committed relationships. Now, this new moon I call a bit destined one, because all the karmic planets are taking part, and they are very supportive of that new moon. Now, Saturn and Neptune, which are newly in your house of earning income, they will send amazing support to that ruler, Mercury. Seems like you might receive a boost. For example, your husband or wife getting promoted, or they are getting new job offer that will also entail and indicate relocation. For example, going somewhere, immigrating somewhere else, like changing the place where you live with whole family, as an example. And it might be somewhere very far, somewhere on an island, or where there is nature. It could be because of your husband or wife, or because of your business relationships, for example. Or it can be a situation of your mother. If it's not your situation, then it might be news from your mom, like your parents are immigrating somewhere, for example, because of your father's job, or because of her job, or some sort of financial opportunities coming here and into the picture, which you will be crazy, extremely happy, like building the family, for example. Or here also, it might be that you might receive inheritance by end of May, which will support you too. It's amazing, sort of amazing news is coming, and that inheritance seems like will be located somewhere far, most likely piece of land or real estate somewhere back home, as an example. Or it might be your better half is receiving that inheritance, as an example. Now, it's also about family composition, like number of people in your family, and it's new energy. So seems like someone is adding up into your family, coming into your family, like you're growing here. Maybe I don't know, you are taking your mom, let's say, to live with yourself, with you guys, like closer to yourself, by yourself, let's say, because for example, your mom was located, or your parents were located somewhere far, and now you bought a house for them, and now they are coming to live somewhere nearby, as an example. Or someone in your family are announcing that they are getting married, and now you're welcoming new member for your family. Maybe it's your sister or your brother or even your mother, for example. So there is something going on which is related to your family or real estate. Some of you guys might buy a real estate, like an apartment, a house, because it's a new moon, it's a new energy, and seems like your one and only will be supportive of that decision. But it indicated that you might be thinking buying that piece of real estate somewhere far, not in your city, not in your location, maybe you're buying in some other country, like as an investment, as an example, my dear Pisces. Now, always check your rising sign and moon sign. They all play out in different parts of our lives. So stay positive in May. Love you all. Bye bye.